Hello everybody and welcome back to Cooking with Grandma. Today I'm going to be making chicken quesadilla bowls. I have usually, you make a chicken quesadilla, you take the tortilla shell, you put the filling in, put it on top, pinch the ends together and cut it in like triangles. And half the time like they never stick together and then you have all your filling all over the place. So I was watching a cooking show this morning and they did something else with them, but I'm going to make it into chicken quesadilla bowls. So you need a bowl that's oven safe and a cookie sheet and your tortilla shells. You can use any kind you want. You can use the corn, you can use the flavored, you can use whatever you want. These are just normal tortillas, corn tortilla shells. And you put it over the bowl, drape it over, and just kind of pleat it a little bit so it stays on the bowl like that. I've already done a couple ahead of time, and then so I can have them to show you. So after you get them on your bowl, kind of push them down. They'll just stay, and as they cook, then they take the shape. So you want to just do those little pleats just to keep it flat and keep it down there. And you put these in the oven for about 10 minutes. When I did the first few, I did them 5 minutes at a time because I didn't want to, I didn't want them to bake over them. So then when they come out of the oven, you just peel them off the bowl, and that's what you have. And then we're going to just fill them up with our usual, whatever you want to put in them for quesadillas. Now I've got some chicken breast that I sliced up, or cubed up rather, and I'm going to chop an onion, some sweet peppers, tomato, and then I have some jarred salsa that I'm going to put in it as well. So, it's the same identical fillings you would do for quesadillas. And if you don't want quesadilla fillings, you can do taco bowls. You can make you make your taco filling with the burger and, if you do the refried beans and whatever taco kit you might buy or the filling, you can do that. You can do it with chicken, you can do it with hamburger. It's so versatile and it's so inexpensive. Like I bought a package of just the store brand original tortillas, and they were 15 of them for like $4.50, something like that. So that's going to be enough to feed us, all of us, with a few left over. Because tonight I'm doing for 5, not for 7. So you chop up your onions pretty small. And I'm going to get these in. I've got a frying pan warming up over here. Except that it's on the wrong burner. There we go. And you go ahead and put your chopped onions in there and let them get a little cook. Just get them. I don't want big chunks of onion. I want them nice and small. And then once these are all done, you can put them back into the oven just to heat everything through. So you don't want to cook your tortilla shells all the way. I did cook 2 of them a little too much, and they didn't peel off the bowl. So I had to throw them out and start over because they broke. I did them a little bit too much. Now I've switched cutting boards. I have this one is just for meat, raw meat. You don't want to be cutting raw chicken and then turn around and cut your vegetables. So we're going to just cut these up, just bite-sized pieces, just chunks. Not too big, not too small, just when you reach in there. Like, they can be a little bit bigger than you would make them for a tortilla, because inside the tortilla you want everything really tiny, because you either roll it up like a wrap or, top one with the other and, seal the edges. But with this, because it's in a little bowl, you can eat everything out of it with a fork, or you can break off a piece of the tortilla shell, a bowl, because edible bowl, right? And just dip it in there, however you want to do it. And again, this is very versatile. You can use chicken breast, you can use hamburger, turkey, whatever you want to put in there. You can make quesadillas with any kind of meat you want. So I've got that, the chicken cooking, and the onions. It doesn't take long. And now I'm going to switch back to my vegetable cutting board, and I'm going to cut up my tomatoes and peppers. Bad spot on the tomato, get rid of that. And you put these in the pan and just stir it all up and cook them all together. The tomatoes I'll add last. Actually should have chopped up my peppers first because they take a little bit longer to cook than the tomato will. So that's how you put it in the pan in order of how long each thing is going to take to cook. So when the chicken and the onions are almost done, I'll add my peppers and then give them a few minutes, then I'll add the tomatoes. So that way everything is done together and you're not going to have one ingredient overdone and some things that are still kind of, get rid of the core of the tomato, that, you know, some things are overdone, some things are underdone. So you put them in stages. Just take your tomato, slice it up, and then just like this, just chunk it. It doesn't have to be really, really small like it would be in a quesadilla or a wrap. Because again, like I said, this is a bowl, so you can make them not so precise, not so little. Just random. There we go. And now I'll chop up some red pepper. I have red and orange and yellow. They come in a 3-pack at the store that way, so that's what I'm going to use. I didn't have any green peppers, so you just use what you have, you know, like with all the lockdowns and shutdowns and stuff, you don't want to be going to the store all the time. If this isn't something you usually buy weekly, then, you know, make your meal plan, and when you do it weekly or every 2 weeks, whatever, to get your groceries, add it to the list, add it to your grocery list. Sweet peppers are something that I buy pretty much every week or every 2 weeks. Sometimes I'll use it up quicker than others, but that's alright, they keep in the fridge. So if you don't normally have those in your cupboard, then add it. And again, if you don't like sweet peppers, don't put in sweet peppers. You can just put just the salsa with your meat if you want to. I mean, the salsa's pretty much got everything you need it anyway. I just add the fresh vegetables and then the salsa to, you know, give it a little bit of moisture, some juice, and just to do like a filler, just add a little bit more to it. So there we go. Quick and easy. I mean, you take your peppers, cut them, seed them, chop them, done. It can't be any easier. I'm going to give my chicken and onions a bit of a stir. There we go. And that is, the onions are browning nicely, and the chicken is about done. So I'll just chop this last pepper here. You want to get rid of this, and when you're cutting peppers, you want to get rid of this white, because that makes it bitter. You don't want to cook that. It won't cook. It'll be, oh, and there's my oven timer. Take out my 2 little bowls that I just made to show you how to do it. Okay, I'm going to put these peppers in with the chicken and the onion. Let them cook for a little bit before I add the rest of the tomatoes and the filling, the salsa. And you don't want to cook your taco shells all the way, you know, tortillas, so they're like totally crispy, because they stick to the bowl, and that's what I did. That's why I had to throw it away, because they stuck, and when I took it off, they broke all over the place. So you see, they're just, they kept their shape, and there you go. And it's still a little raw right in the middle, but that's okay. You can put your filling in, you're going to put them back in the oven for a couple minutes. So I'm just going to add those to the stack that I already made. And then we'll make our filling, and we'll get these guys filled and back in the oven. Let's set this tray out of the way here. What I did for that is I used my big round pizza tray. So then I was able to do 4 at a time instead of 2. You know, it'll take you all day. You want to get things done. Okay, let that, stir that up. I do have another chicken breast because I don't think that's going to be enough. But I just cut up 2 to start with to see if I would need extra. I mean, it won't hurt if you have extra leftover. You can always just use it the next day, make some rice and top it on top of the rice and have like a stir fry thing going on if there's extra filling. So, you know, there's always something you can do with the leftovers. And there are a lot of people out there, I know, that do not like leftovers. For us, it doesn't matter. If I cook a little extra, then you can have it for lunch the next day, or, you know, day after that you want to add something to it and make it into a supper, go for it. Because, you know, the less time you spend cooking, the better. I love to cook and I love to bake, but I don't want to spend all day making meals. If I can make one meal and turn it into, like, prep this kind of thing and turn it into two different meals, that's a bonus. Especially that's good for the moms that are still working, or dads, because there's a lot of dads that do the cooking and if they're working, and you don't want to come home and have to prep and cook a meal after a long day at work or a long day of schooling with your kids. There, I'm going to give those a couple minutes. I'm going to add some seasoning salt. A little bit of seasoning salt. And I'm going to add a little touch of garlic powder, just to give it a little flavor. Just a couple of sprinkles, like probably 2 teaspoonfuls. Pepper. Season it up. You don't need to add a lot because the ingredients here are, the chicken is bland unless you add seasoning to it. So like your basic salt and pepper, seasoning, salt, whatever. Because when you add the salsa, it's going to have seasoning in it. You can add some oregano or like Italian seasoning if you like. Anything you want to put in there. This is one of those recipes that just whatever you have, use it. Just go right ahead and do it. And I see that I missed a little piece of my yellow pepper here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this up and add to it. I'm going to give that just a couple of minutes while the chicken and the peppers cook down a little bit. And again, it doesn't matter if it's not cooked right all the way through, because you are going to put it in the oven for a few minutes and it'll finish cooking that way. Alright, so I'm going to throw my tomatoes in, my chopped tomatoes. I'll bring that pot over in a couple minutes and I'll show you what it all looks like. Give that a couple of minutes to heat through and warm up, and a little bit extra cooking time. And I'm going to open my salsa. I just buy the Walmart brand. We like mild. I don't like it spicy. So just thick and chunky salsa, just the basic. You can get the spicy if you like things hot. You can, you know, whatever. It's your choice. Just get what you and your family likes, because that's what it's all about, is feeding your families and giving them what they like. I'll bring this pot over here and put a few spoonfuls of the salsa. Give it a good stir. There we go. Now see how good that looks? And that took me like, you know, 15 minutes. Not even. Yeah, about that. About 15 minutes to chop everything and cook it. Prep time, cook time, done. say 20 minutes altogether. Well, no, I was going to say with the timing to cook the shells, but no, because I had cooked those as I was prepping all the vegetables and getting the chicken and everything cooked. So that all worked up into the cooking time. So I'm going to put them all together here in my little bowls. I think I'm only going to get, I think I'm only going to get 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do is move this and switch it out for my great big huge pizza pan. This thing is great. We got this at a store that was having a huge sale. It was a great big, it came with this size and a smaller size. So now I can do 4 at a time instead of 3. So I can heat these through and then pop the next 4 in the oven, and when it comes time to serve it, it's all ready. So you're just going to take a spoonful. I mean, they don't have to be filled right to the brim. You can if you've got that much ingredients. Like this would be like a meal right here. You can have a little salad on the side if you like, but you don't really need it. Okay. So I'm not gonna, I have some more to make, so I don't want to use all my filling up. Just put a little bit more in this guy. Okay, there we go. That's those 4. So I'm just going to grab my cheese. And a friend of ours went to Costco and they bought us, we asked them to pick up some pre-sliced cheese. I normally grate my own because usually the bag cheese is pretty expensive. So what I did is there was a great big huge 20-pound bag of it, and I just split it up like this into little bags, and I put some in the freezer. So we're just going to take like a handful and put it right on top of your quesadilla mixture. Okay. And you want to put these back in the oven for about 5 minutes. Give the bottom of your taco bowls, your tortilla bowls, to cook a little bit because they're still a little bit moist on the bottom. And then just everything else is cooked, it just basically has to heat through. So I'm going to stick these guys back in the oven, and I'll come back and show you what they look like in a few minutes. Okay, so they're out of the oven, they're all cooked, and see how easy it is to fit the 4. So you have your bowl, edible bowl, with all the filling inside, with the cheese melted on it, and the nacho shells are nice and crispy. Break off and scoop it. Break off the side of the bowl and scoop it, and then when it gets down to the bottom, just eat it with a fork. So there you go. Prep time and cook time, it was like 25 minutes, start to finish. By the time you get the bowls placed on them, while they're in the oven, you can chop up your chicken, and then have that started with your onion, and then take them out if you have to do it in stages like I did. I did 4 at a time. So yeah, all together, it was like 20 minutes. So there you go. That's what's for dinner tonight. Quesadilla taco bowls. Enjoy. Everybody stay safe. Bye now.